Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of whatever I've called this. I haven't come up with a name for this show yet. Do I need one? This is an early morning barking channel. The name doesn't even mean anything. I was literally trying to think of a name for the channel, and I was sat on the toilet. It was early in the morning and the dog barked. It's really that simple. But anyway, I should say at the beginning of this, there's some things scrolling along. So if you want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram or Facebook or whatever else I've got scrolling along here, please do so. It would be good to have some Twitter followers again, and I post those videos. You know, you're watching one. Anyway, I'll talk about stuff now. I wanted to, in the last video, I talked about forgiving ourselves, especially after we've had some sort of break or problem that has occurred, as is our tendency to create sometimes. And in this video, I wanted to talk about getting forgiveness from other people, because that is so much harder and a much more abstract thing to have to deal with. And it's something that I see a lot of people talk about on sort of Reddit and Twitter and social media in general. How can I've been awful. Can anyone forgive me for being awful? And the answer to that is complicated and probably not one you want to hear. Because the truth is, I don't know. I don't know what you've done. But you did that. Whatever it is. You have to take responsibility for that. See, this breaks down into a couple of parts. First of all, how responsible are we for these outbreaks? If we do something, say something, whatever it is we do when we get angry and rage, how responsible are we for that? We've got a mental health condition that makes us do that, right? Well, yeah, to a certain extent, but you still did it, you know? That came from within you. I haven't talked about the sort of many personality things yet, because that in itself is a big complicated topic, and we sort of try and sometimes parcel these things off like it wasn't me, it was this part of me that did that. Well, the key, it was a part of you, right? You did this. I think we have to accept responsibility for what we do, because I'm not sure if I mentioned this in a video or two ago, but I feel like when we rage, we're really just letting the filter off. There's nothing new coming out of us that isn't already in us. This is from us. And it might be inappropriate, it might be misplaced, it might be wrong, but we still did whatever it is we did, and we have to accept responsibility for that. And accepting that responsibility is the first step in having somebody possibly forgive you for whatever it is you said or done. You have to accept also that you can't do anything about this as such. Someone's either going to forgive you or they aren't. And that boils down to how they feel. You can't make them feel anything, and you shouldn't try. You have to, part of accepting responsibility is also accepting that there are consequences for our actions. And when we want forgiveness from others, we're entirely at their mercy. But as I say, taking that responsibility and being able to say, I'm sorry, I know I did a bad thing. I don't want to do that. That's step one. But we then have to move on to other things, because there's more to it than that. There's the other step of showing willingness to improve. You can't just go on like this forever, right? If something you do when you rage hurts somebody else, this is a non-sustainable situation, right? You have to want to change. You have to want to never do that again. You have to understand that it was bad and you hurt somebody and what that feels like for them, which can be difficult if you're doing it with NPD and you don't really have much empathy. But we're hurting people sometimes. We've got to take responsibility for that, and we've got to want to stop it. We've got to know that it's bad. And showing that is the next step. That's true. This kind of thing is true with any kind of apology. You've done a bad thing. You have to show that you know you've done a bad thing and move on from it. You've got to have that desire to improve yourself and get better and be showing some sign of improvement. And then, maybe then, I could see a way to somebody forgiving us. But it takes a lot. It's not easy. And you've got to do more than just sit there and say, I'm sorry. Right? Look, we also want to touch on NPD and manipulation with this. Just saying I'm sorry. Come on. We've had practice at this. We're well versed at getting away with whatever it is we feel we should get away with. That's part of it because we're special, right? We can control these idiots that are raging at us, and their words don't really mean anything because look at them. If we aren't going to prove that that's not the thought process going on in our heads, why should somebody believe us? Why should somebody forgive us and think we're actually trying to move on? Something we are skilled at is that lie. Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. I know I've heard you. I get what it is you said. I'm not going to do this again. I'm so sorry. It's such bullshit that just flows. It's amazing how good we are at it. But you can back that up with actual actions, right? You can't fake actions. If you are getting better, then you're getting better, right? That's why you've got to back it up with actually doing something. It's tough, isn't it? But then so's living with us. We're not a picnic. We're not a walk in the park, are we? So, look, if you need to get forgiveness for something, and if you're watching these videos, the chances are, like me, you do, then you've got to accept that responsibility and show willingness to move on and actually start moving on. Otherwise, you're just some guy who hurt somebody. And we don't want to be that. That's the difference between us and total arseholes, right? There are people in the world who are just horrible people, who just like hurting people, who don't care how their actions affect others because they're just horrible. But that's not us, right? We're not horrible people. We're good people with problems. And we have to learn to not let those problems hurt people. And that desire is what makes us in any way forgivable. Right. I think that's all of it. I'll see you on social medias and stuff. And more videos, of course. Anyway, take care. See you later. Bye.